Hello and welcome to part 3 of a Chatty Sparkly Runners special series, all about structuring your training to improve your running.
Yep.
That's right, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah. And so far we've covered taking a couple of weeks holiday.
yeah,
to make
training
sure
holiday,
your,
health.
Yeah, health is good.
Yeah,
that
and
you're
you've not
raring
got
to go
any
again.
injuries. Yeah, raring to go again. Yeah.
And then last week we talked, or you went through a typical week, didn't you,
Yeah.
in the base training phase.
Yeah,
Am I right?
what I call aerobic conditioning or
Aerobic
base
conditioning.
training, people call it. Or yeah,
And I think you want to focus in on one particular run
on
this
the
week,
most important run of the
Brilliant.
week in the base conditioning phase,
which is
the long run. Are we
The
going to
long
move?
run. We're gonna move, yeah.
We've both done our
Yes.
long run today, so we're not going to be running on this, are we?
we will get back to running
We will.
one
Yeah,
day.
well, I've done. Yeah,
We've both done a big long walk this morning.
I've done a long run.
You've done
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
running
So
as
the
well.
long run.
Anyway, on we go.
The long run is the most important run of the week. In fact, in most weeks, especially if you're running a marathon. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 things that happen to your body when you train in the long run. So 3 advantages of the long run.
So this is a reason for doing it.
Yeah, the reasons, the bodily changes that happen that are caused by the long run. And also 3 things that successful marathoners do in their long run. Because there's a difference between what the successful runners do and
So not just marathon runners, but successful runners.
Yeah, full stop.
yeah,
But they
full
will
stop.
do that. But successful marathon runners will especially will
Okay.
do it. Yeah. So the first thing is, what does the long run give you? Well, if you were thinking in terms of running 10k, for instance, you could certainly do your 10k pace for half a lap of the track for 200 meters. You could do that. It wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't even tire you out that much. So actually you have the speed to run the pace you want to for 10k. But what you have the strength, because you can sprint it. So you've got the speed and you've got the strength. So what stops you is your stamina, your endurance.
Right.
And
That
so
big word, endurance.
yeah, stamina, the ability to keep going. So what the long run is the main reason that's going to give you that endurance you need. And so the magic happens at 2 hours. So really you've got to get up to 2 hours for these things to happen. So the first thing of the 3 is that when you go long, your body begins to use fat as a fuel. So you'll get your fat metabolism working. And so once you've got that fat metabolism working, then you can carry on forever.
And that doesn't happen until 2 hours. Does it not
Well,
happen to a certain
it does to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Because if you're doing a half marathon, you don't have to go up to 2 hours if you don't want to.
No, you could go to
You could
130,
go to
145.
130. So it must be happening to some extent.
Yeah, to some it is, but you have to go gently.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start, I'll talk about this when the successful marathoners bit, but as soon as you start going just a little bit faster, your body says, oh, we're not going to go for very long today, so therefore I'm going to use carbohydrates as my fuel, not fat as a fuel.
Okay.
So your long run is going to stimulate, because you're going to do it gently, it's going to allow your body to use fat as a fuel. And that will help you, because you've only got 2 hours of carbohydrate running in your body. So that's going to help you last the marathon, if you're going to do them, and a half marathon if it's going to be over 2 hours. But there's another crucial thing about using your fat as a fuel, and that is that when you do your slightly faster runs in the week that do use carbohydrate as a fuel, it means that on your recovery days, if you're running, you're using fat so you can restore your glycogen stores. So
Okay,
you're not
so you're
going
saying
to
it
feel
helps you recover.
it helps you recover, and it's not going to make you feel so tired. You've got
Wow.
days of fuel as fat in your body. So
Right.
you when you get that, you're not going to feel tired.
So is
Whereas-
that number 1 then?
So the second thing is it stimulates blood capillaries growing into your muscles.
What does that do then? Because that
Well,
sounds a little bit creepy.
Well, it just that your body will say, oh, we're demanding more oxygen. We need more fuel to get to the muscles. we best grow some more blood capillaries to supply our muscles with more blood. And so
So it's building more roads in your body then, isn't it? To
and,
carry the fuel.
yeah, and the oxygen. And taking away the byproducts, taking away.
Okay, that's...
So, and that will...
And that happens at 2 hours as well.
Well,
nice...
it really stimulates it 2 hours. The more gentle running you do, the more you stimulate that. But actually 2 hours is the magic.
Okay, that's good. What about number 3?
Okay, and the third one, I might get a bit technical here.
Oh, not too technical.
Okay, so everybody has different types of muscle. They have sprinty muscles, which are fast twitch muscles because they twitch really quick, and they have slower twitch. They still twitch quick, but they don't twitch.
Not twitch as fast. Yeah, okay.
And so when you go running, you're running a marathon or a half marathon, your body will use the slower twitch muscles.
Yeah.
But
you don't need to sprint off.
No, exactly.
Until the end.
Okay. But when you're doing your long run, your slower twitch muscles will get tired.
Oh, right.
And so towards the end of your long run, after about an hour and 40 minutes, your slower twitch muscles tire and your faster twitch muscles come to the party. So it's like doing sprint training. It's
without sprinting.
Without sprinting. So that's a win-win situation as far as I can see.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and some people actually feel it happening. Suddenly they feel more powerful because their bodies are switched to using their more sprinty type muscles. I think that's right, not too technical.
No, that's fine. That's the 3 things then.
That's the 3 things.
Yeah, they're 3 really positive adaptations that you're getting if you do that lovely long run.
And that's why it's so important. That's why it's your most important run of the week.
Yeah. Okay, now, second part was all about...
What do successful runners do? Okay, so the first thing is they don't go too far.
Don't go too far?
No, so people were and they do it by... It's always best to do by time as a coach, because by time everybody's doing the same amount. It's the time that gives the...
So if you see training programmes that have got distance down there, well, that's not going to suit everybody, is it? No. Because everybody's different.
So the most successful marathoners will go up to 2.5 hours, whatever that is for them. So if they can do a marathon in 2.5 hours, they'll do 20 miles quite comfortably in that time. Whereas if you're a 5-hour marathon runner, you might you probably get 10 miles half marathon in that time, and that's fine because you're getting all the adaptations that you want, but you've just described. Yeah, you've got to. It's very important not to do too much, because if you do too much, you'll just get tired, and you can't carry on the running through the rest of the week. Yeah, and you'll get round your marathon if it's a marathon that you're going to do. Yeah, you've got to have faith in that. Yeah, if you can do half marathon, you can run a marathon on marathon day. Okay, so that's the first thing that successful runners. Yeah. So the second thing then, Colin. So the second thing is, and this will surprise a few people, is they run gently. And so our local top marathon runner is Andrew Davis, and he's run for Wales in the Commonwealth Games. He's run 2 hours 14, which is 5-minute miling, and he'll do his long runs in 7.5 minutes per mile. So significantly 2.5 minutes a mile slower. Yet you see people whose marathon pace is 9 minutes doing their long runs at 9.5-minute miling when it should be 10.5, 11 minutes. So they go much slower, and that's the key to getting those adaptations. It's the key to getting the fat. Yeah. To using fat, because if you don't go really gently, you're going to be using glycogen all the time, and like I said before, you're not going to stimulate your body to use fat, and that's crucial for you if you want to finish the marathon with lots of energy. Okay. So number 3, Colin. We'll see if you can guess it. The third thing that successful runners do. I've got to guess it, have I? Yeah, guess it. Oh, crumbs! Now you're challenging me. I think it's something to do with eating. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got it right. Absolutely. Yeah. So what they do is they don't fuel on their runs. They don't take gels. They don't take carbohydrate drinks. They have a little bit of a breakfast. Yeah. And a nice drink of water probably, and they're set off. And that's very important, of course. If you're doing and I see it so many times with people, as they do their long run, and they start to get a bit tired, so they take a gel or whatever. There's lots of marketing out there, and what that gel is made of sugar. So what you're doing is you're feeding your body sugar when you're trying to get it to use fat. So it's never going to happen.
counterproductive.
So
You will need to do a
on
little bit
race
of
day, on
practice.
marathon
yeah,
day,
but you can do that in another video a bit later on.
Yeah, you can. I don't.
We're going to go over this bridge,
Okay.
so you can keep the film going.
Yeah, so
yeah,
you will
so you
do
don't
that.
need to eat. Yeah.
You can have one practice run, and you have a nice big breakfast, and you have a fueling strategy for the marathon because you want to take as much carbohydrate on the marathon. But when
we'll deal with that later.
But on the long run,
you don't need it.
You don't need it because that's not what you're trying to get your body to adapt to.
And have faith that gradually, if you build up these long runs, you will switch over to using fat.
And
you'll be absolutely fine.
So you won't get that, I've run out of energy. You'll get this feeling where you can just carry on forever.
Yeah. But you've got to build it up gradually.
Yeah, and it takes 3 or 4 weeks. You might get a couple of weeks where you're feeling really, weary towards the end of the run as you run out of glycogen.
Right.
But 4 or 5 weeks later, you'll get yourself in a tireless state.
Okay, Colin, so that's it. 2 sets of 3 today.
Yeah, good ones.
It's all about the long run.
Yeah, and it is vitally important. And if anybody that wants to be a successful endurance runner has to do a long run, because that's where you get your stamina.
I mean, once you get into them, they're really enjoyable, aren't they?
I find I struggle in the first 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden I get into
it. So what about the long run this week, next week?
Hills.
Right.
How to use the hills to get yourself stronger.
Yeah.
And more
I
supple.
think probably a little bit about how long to do the conditioning first.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll do, yeah.
Okay, so don't forget our website, chattysparklyrunners.co.uk, and join our Facebook group if you want to follow Colin's marathon shorts. Yeah. And that's what we're filming now.
Yeah.
So, see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.